December the 13th, 1933. 7 East Coast lifeboats launched that day. A bitterly cold easterly gale was blowing. In the early hours, the H.F. Bailey launched from her pierhead station to a barge in trouble along the coast at Haysborough. Local photographer Philip Vickery faithfully recorded lifeboat stories whenever possible. As dawn broke, he saw the sailing barge Sepoy.
It was a full gale, and I went onto the cliff, from Cliff Drive, where I was living then, and to my astonishment I saw a barge anchored under the cliff by the lighthouse, in line with the lighthouse. After that I got my cameras together and plates, and I went onto the cliff to have a look, and it wasn't long before her anchor parted and she started to drift. And so I went down to the beach as quickly as possible to get my position so I could take some photographs. And I went along the east beach and I looked up on the cliff, found a ravine in the cliff and climbed up to it and lay on my back in the ravine so that I could handle my camera up to my face and await eventualities. By that time the rocket brigade was there. The Alexandra lifeboat, number 2 boat, had been hauled along the beach and over the doctor's steps to promenade onto the east beach and was ready in place for launching.
On the beach, retired lifeboat mechanic Bob Davies organised a crew for the rowing lifeboat Alexandra. 100 men and women gathered at the boathouse to push the number 2 lifeboat to the edge of the roaring surf. Shrimp Davies rowed port bow oar.
The rocket operators had got a line aboard, the Sepoy, but they couldn't get off the rigging to haul the britches buoy in. And that line, as we swept past the stern of the boat, was interfering with the rowing of the boat, you know. So I managed to cut my oar up, cut the rope, take a turn round the 4 bollard, hoping that would hold her there till we got the 2 men at the rigging, but it broke and we had it up to shore.
Philip Vickery carefully selected when he would use the next of his precious photographic plates.
I noticed the barge when she crossed the breakwater gave a shudder and I think she was holed. And the lifeboat was pulled over. Also the rocket brigade came over to the other beach by the gangway. Another rocket was fired but missed the barge. The line in one of my photographs can be seen with the tail block in the water. And the lifeboat then was relaunched and made a way to get to the barge, but was unable to do so owing to the strong sea and wind.
Shrimp recalled.
Meanwhile, the Godson lifeboat was sent out to tell the Cromer boat, no radios then, that this barge was being driven ashore, or short, and 2 men were still in the rigging. They had to come all the way back again in this gale of wind.
The men were still in the rigging, hanging on, couldn't get them on all. And it was about 3:30 or 3:15 when the H.F. Bailey hove in sight and Blogg summed up the position by circling inside the wreck, and he decided to put the bow onto the side of the Sepoy and haul the men off the rigging.
Lewis Tuna Harrison had been successful in getting a lifebelt on the motor lifeboat that morning. He recalled the conversation between Coxswain Blogg and second coxswain Jack Davis as they approached.
What Henry did say, I remember that, was that do we want the drill done as we go in first time, you see, to get inside the swell, and then he decided that wouldn't work because you had to do the job rather quickly, you know, it was in and turning and getting on with the job, and he wouldn't have time to mess around with the drill, so he went in without it.
Blogg brought the lifeboat down towards the pier, headed from the beach, and then turned out towards the Sepoy. He ran the lifeboat up onto her deck.
Right on the deck, smack on. Uncle Davis was killed in the farming up the street here. He's the one who climbed up. Climbed up on the rigging to help the two down, and then that yard was there as well, but because you couldn't get too many round it, you know, could you? Up one rigging, 2 or 3 hours just hung on the best we could till and helped them all down. And soon she came astern, and he went out again and decided, well, that was too far to take these, whatever, you know, coal, and so we just turned around and beached her.
Blogg had held the lifeboat on the deck of the Sepoy, while the 2 frozen men were helped from the rigging. The lifeboat went astern, and with the suffering of the 2 men in mind, Blogg headed the lifeboat straight for the beach. She grounded on the shingle, and a dozen men ran into the water to steady her. As they helped the 2 rescued men and the lifeboat crew ashore, the church bells rang in celebration. The next day, the front pages of the national press carried Philip Vickery's pictures of the Sepoy at Cromer. The exploits of the Cromer men were once again news across the country. When the weather abated, the wreck of the Sepoy became an object of fascination on the beach. Her cargo of tiles were salvaged and stored for a while on the promenade. The lifeboat H.F. Bailey, after much exertion, was refloated and taken off for repair.